Hey everybody, Wave 3 DS meteorologist Brian Good here. Sorry, almost said snow talk again. Storm talk is a little late getting out today. We've had some things here at the station keeping us busy. But here's the latest quick update for the weekend. I do want to address some of the changes we have noted. I've been hinting at on Facebook and on Twitter throughout most of the day. First of our outlook tonight, severe risk to our west, Ozarks, isolated downpours locally expected as we head into tomorrow. Marginal risk around Kentuckiana for severe. I think if there's going to be a slight risk upgrade, it would likely be in this area. Two areas of low pressure will be tracking, one to our north and one along the Ohio River itself. Will both enhance the wind fields enough that there could be some stronger storms that could produce a few warnings. But really, overall, that's not the headline this weekend. It's not going to be a big issue in severe weather standards at all. In the short term, 82 degrees now low. We got some 70s to the south. We do have a lot of moisture still at play, so still risk for some heavy downpours for some of us. I know a lot of you are like, man, how can we be talking about a lot of heavy rain lately? I haven't had a drop. I'm in a drought. And then those of you that, when I mention drought potential, you're like, well, how can that be? I've had nothing but rain every day, and my ground is soggy. So it's hard to please everybody, first off. But secondly, we got 29 counties to cover, and a lot of you have had these little spotty little downpours that have really hit you almost every day. I'm not sure if it's a good or bad thing. You've had a dark cloud over you every day, and some people have been missed every day. So it really is a faster famine, as we always say, around the area. Is it fast or famine? Faster and famine. Faster famine is what I'm referring to on that one. On the radar trends, you see here, you got a few downpours developing now in the short range across our southern counties. They're running against the clock here on the sun energy. I think a lot of these here will begin to fall apart, and that will allow a lot of this activity to disappear off the radar and weaken. In fact, our short-range models do show that. Again, a couple isolated downpours, they may make it into Louisville, and then they'll fade away after sunset tonight, and most of the night tonight looks to be on the quiet side. Now let's look at how things are going to play out as we end this Saturday. I think we're going to start off, again, with those two areas of low pressure riding a cold front, by the way, that's working its way to the south. The first area of low pressure tracking well to our north in the afternoon. It's going to impact central Indiana and Ohio. It may spark a few isolated thunderstorms in its wake across northern Kentucky and southeast areas of Indiana. We're going to keep the rain chance about 30% for that risk. Otherwise, most of the area looks now to stay mainly just humid with some sunshine mixed in, hazy sunshine at that. Temperatures may climb well into the 80s potentially for the afternoon hours on Saturday. But then we prepare for the second wave that's going to ride a little closer to us. This one should develop southern Illinois into southern Indiana. Now, I will say that the GFS is coming in and it's trying to take it a little further to the south. The path is important because the path and along and north of that is going to be the main focal point for a steadier band of rainfall. At this point, this looks to be Indiana will get the brunt of that potential for late Saturday night, early Sunday, while the southern part of that low will likely dry up. Not much to keep it going. So if this were to hold true, for those of you in Indiana, you have the best shot of rain at all for the entire weekend. For those of us in Kentucky, we have the least amount. So could someone get skipped out of this entire system set up for the entire weekend? Yes. Someone could very well get skipped from rain once again. And some of you may see rain the entire time out of both of those systems to impact you this weekend. And that's how scattered it is looking on the longer term here for the weekend. So we'll keep fine-tuning that. Stay tuned. Of course, we'll have updates tonight at 11 o'clock and, of course, on sunrise early tomorrow morning. All right, now looking at the wind fields for the chance for anything strong, and here's the NAM model for the winds aloft as we into the afternoon tomorrow. Yeah, some decent winds there, marginal for any type of severe wind gusts, but they're there in the afternoon. And then as we into after midnight, yeah, they're right over us. And that would raise some eyebrows, thinking, oh no, and maybe we get some damage of winds out of that. But here's the issue. You can have winds aloft being strong, but if you don't have the ability to get the cloud to build up into that wind, it's not a severe threat to get that wind shoved to the ground. And in the afternoon, our instability is kind of marginal, about 1,000 on Capes, a little higher in Indiana. So yeah, there could be a few warnings here. Where the strongest winds were in the afternoon, it's not that bad really, but bad enough that there could get some clouds tap into strong winds in West Kentucky and West Tennessee. Wouldn't rule it out. But for us, it's kind of marginal, but we don't have the strong winds yet over us at this point. But when the winds move over us late Saturday night around 2 o'clock in the morning Sunday, we lose that ability to get the cloud up into those stronger winds. In fact, we lose a lot of instability. So that's why it's counterbalancing itself. We have one or the other, but we don't have both at the same time. And because we don't have both at the same time, that's why our severe threat for this event is on the low side. So what's going to happen Saturday? Again, warm, humid day, temperatures in the 80s. We'll watch that first wave for our northern counties and the second wave late Saturday night into Sunday. Sunday itself, though, the problem is going to be the Stratus deck. This is that white layer, and it's about 500 to 800 feet in height from the ground. That is a very low cloud deck that can stick around most of the day on Sunday, as we're on the back side of that area of low pressure. That will likely limit our temperatures to struggle to even get out of the 60s. I mean, it's mainly a dry profile because these lines are not touching all the way up the moisture line and the temperature line. So that tells us that if anything, this would be drizzle maybe, but not much on the radar. And there may be some drizzle that could develop in the afternoon. Now, if we were to see the Stratus deck thin enough and erode away to get some pockets of sunshine, you will easily, boom, right into the 70s. But if that Stratus deck stays low to the ground and stays thick enough throughout most of the day, it is going to be a gloomy day and temperatures will struggle to hit 70. Right now, we're getting data that would support strongly that was going to be the scenario. And we're getting some data rolling in here this late evening that there's a chance that a few breaks in the cloud cover may develop. We'll see how that plays out. Either way, it's not going to be a very pretty day the way it's looking right now for Sunday. Looking at the moisture levels, on Monday, as that front continues to push to the south, southeast Kentucky stands the best chance for a scattered storm. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, not bad. We dry the layers of the atmosphere enough to where a storm chance can be removed. But as we into Thursday and Friday, and well, even beyond, we run into a much more humid atmosphere, it looks like, as we head into next weekend. We may see another front that may try to drop us down around the 8th, but that's still a maybe at this point. All right, guys, so overall, the weekend forecast has improved based now on some of the timing issues and the traxal low pressure that is allowing us perfect times and opportunity here in central Kentucky to take advantage of the timing of those systems to where we get the benefit from more of the dryness than the wet periods. Now, for a gardener and a farmer, that's not good news. You're one in the rain. I get that. But for those of us that have outdoor plans, it's better news. There you have it, guys. Much more right now on Way3.com.